Okay, so in today's video I have got this Make and Bake Too Cute eraser set. So it comes with this set. It comes with this book that gives you instructions on different ones you can make. I think, as far as I can tell, it gives you enough stuff to be able to make everything in the book, but I'm not entirely sure. I've literally never opened it. So if you want to see me open this and create some of these, then keep on watching. Okay, so as you could probably see before, I got this set from The Works. It was part of like their 3 for however much range, so I bought this at the same time as I bought a couple others, which at the time this is uploaded they will probably be going up afterwards. So I bought this one, and I bought I think I actually bought 3 others, I want to say. But I bought this one, I bought a wax melt one, I bought a bath bomb one, and I bought a drawing one. So the bath bomb and the wax melt ones I have done and filmed. I'm just waiting to edit those, just waiting to get round to it. But obviously I've done these ones as well. But I thought this one was really cute actually, just, you know, with the eraser clay, and just I had a quick flick through the book while I was there, and I thought it would be really cute. Also, obviously you can reuse the book and do it out of actual clay rather than like eraser clay, so, you know, just normal air dry clay, and, you know, just carry on making things after you've used this set. So I thought this was quite a cute one to get, hence why obviously I did. So I just started off, as you can see, with getting everything out of the packaging. So you get all the different colours of clay that you'd need, and then each little thing has in the instructions how much of the clay you need, so like in grams it will tell you, and each packet has 10 grams in there. So originally, before I actually looked through properly, I assumed that there would be enough clay to make each individual one that is in there. Unfortunately there is not, so for some of them you do have to kind of choose which ones you're going to do. So originally I was just kind of working through from the front of the book to the back, the banana being the first one that I did. Obviously the banana that they show it with all the like peeled down, but there was also sort of an option to have just one down, so the banana was peeking through, and that was the one that I chose to do, as you just saw. The next one I did was this watermelon. But yeah, like I was saying, I assumed to begin with that there would be enough clay to do all of them in the book. Unfortunately there isn't, so I just kind of did as many as I could. I ended up using all of the different packets of clay that I had to do this. This one was relatively easy. To be fair, I didn't like weigh any of the clay out or anything. I just divided them into like 10 equal sections, and then sectioned them off like that instead of weighing them out. I just kind of eyeballed it a little bit, and it worked out okay, but like I say, there were some where to begin with I assumed I would have enough to do all of them, until I kind of realised, hang on a minute, I'm getting a bit low on green here. I think it was the green one that I was getting a bit low on, either the green or the cream one, and then I carried on having a little flick through, and then realised that I absolutely would not have enough to finish it. So instead of doing that, I just flicked through to the ones that I really wanted to do and did those ones instead. As you just seen as well, the peas, I was doing the peas, but they went a little bit wrong, so I just kind of ended up mixing the green all together and then just reusing that green clay for another one instead. I was going to go back to it if I had enough clay at the end. I didn't end up having enough, because I used the rest of it on other ones basically. So yeah, that's kind of where I got up to at this point. The problem that I faced with these a little bit is I think I've assumed it was a little bit hot when I was doing them, which meant that the clay was like really soft. So in some of them I was kind of struggling to have it like keep its shape. I assumed it was because it was really hot. I'm not sure if it was, or whether it was literally just the fact that the clay is just really soft. I'm not entirely sure, but I did sort of have that to contend with, which was a little bit of a problem. Yeah, and I thought, especially since this is like geared towards children, I mean, like everything in this book is aimed at children, you know, the way it's worded, everything, and some of them I struggled with a little bit, so I thought, I don't know, like for kids to do it, I feel like it would be a little bit frustrating, especially with how small they obviously have to be, like the weights of each piece that it tells you to use. I used the exact same weights as what it said to use, so these are sort of like the sizes that they would come out. And yeah, it was like this bit, especially what I'm doing now, the two leaves on this radish, they were really sort of fiddly to actually get in. They took me a few attempts each to actually mould them in and get them right and get them exactly how I wanted them. As you can see, I sort of fiddled about with them and redid them a couple of times before I was actually happy with them. But in the end I was happy with this one, and this one actually turned out to be one of my favourites. So it did take a little while to actually get together and get it all sorted, but it did end up being one of my favourites, and I love the little leaves on it in the end. So the extra time that I spent sort of fiddling around with it to actually get it right was definitely worth it. This avocado, I basically didn't read the instructions correctly, so it said to do like the avocado shape in a lighter green and then completely cover it with the darker green and then cut it in half, because then you'll have like your two halves of the avocado. But when I actually did that, it ended up just blending all into one, so I ended up just mixing the colour together and making the avocado halves out of that. Well, I made one half to begin with, and then if I had any green at the end, I said I would turn the remaining green into the other half, and then what I would do is once they'd come out of the oven, I would paint the darker green around. So that's basically where I went with that one. So it's not exactly how it's supposed to be done, but that's how I ended up doing mine, because it was just a little bit too fiddly to actually sort out. And like I say, I think because the clay was sort of like all melting into one, that really didn't help, because I had no defining colours at all. So yeah, I was doing a pizza one basically, and then my camera cut off whilst I was doing it, so you'll end up seeing that one at the end. But yeah, you pretty much just saw me do the base of the pizza there, but we did have a full one in the end. And then with this one, I was doing the burger, and decided to put two like actual burgers in it instead of just one. I like the technique that I did with the lettuce to kind of have like a bit of a ruffled effect on the lettuce, as you can see now. So I kind of, a lot of them, instead of doing the faces at this point, because I didn't have a permanent marker, I decided to basically do them all as they were, and then once they came out of the oven, I was going to paint the faces on with acrylic paint. Obviously I can do this because I'm not going to actually use any of these rubbers. I'm just going to kind of leave them on display, but if you was to use the rubbers, then you would have to use permanent marker, because if not, obviously the acrylic paint isn't gonna work too well when actually using the rubber. So that was all of them made. I did 3 macaroons afterwards, and then the set came with 3 like display boxes. So there was like a crate for the fruit and veg, there was a pizza box, and then there was a box for the macaroons as well. So I made 3 of those to all fit in the box. So then I did end up going back and making the second avocado half, and this was all of them before they went into the oven. I also had a little green ball there, which I just decided to put in so that I could actually test how the actual rubber works. So as you can see here, I just kind of drew onto the paper and used that little green ball to actually try and rub it out, and to be honest, it doesn't work great, but then I didn't really expect it to. I followed all the instructions exactly when it came to baking them, but yeah, they don't work too great, but then again, I wasn't really expecting them to, like I said. And then I went on to drawing the faces after they'd come out of the oven. I originally tried to paint the faces on with the ink from a Posca pen, but that didn't work out too well. That kind of was a little bit too watery, so I then used acrylic paint to paint it on, and you can see here just painting on the eyes on most of them, and the mouths as well. Some of them already had the eyes on because they had like little heat proof eyes that you could stick through. They were in the sets, so I had some of those, and some of those went in to a couple of them, but there was a few of them that I had to do. I had to do the eyes and the mouths on. And the pizza, before it went into the oven, I did sort of make like indents for the different slices just along the crust. So each of those indents I gave a different face. So the pizza, I think, has got 6 different faces, either 6 or 8 different faces on. I'm not sure, it might be 8 actually. Yeah, I think it is 8 different faces all around the edges, just for the different pizza slices. And then what I did afterwards was I put obviously the pizza in the pizza box and the macaroons in that box, and then just put all of the rest of them in the fruit and veg crate, and then that was them finished. So those were all of the Too Cute erasers that I managed to make. Let me know what you thought down below, and if there's anything else like this that you want me to try, let me know exactly what it is and I can do that. Other than that, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.